Another activity which stops the emission of fossil fuel in the atmosphere is the creation of power, especially electricity for residential living as well as industrial activities. But fortunately today, there are green approaches to this.
Green energy or renewable energy, first, green energy that will not produce carbon dioxide, because it's been found that it's carbon dioxide and the greenhouse gases that are depleting the ozone layer. Okay, so and it's also been found that energy consumption is the greatest factor, okay, in depleting the ozone layer. The carbon dioxide, the methane gases, anything that you will burn and it will release carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, it will go to react with the ozone. Ozone is a bigger oxygen. So, and because carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide especially, is unstable, so it needs more oxygen to this. So it draws from those compounds and then reduce the covering over the earth. Okay, so green energy is that energy that you will use and it will not produce carbon into the atmosphere.
The fact that the adoption of renewable energy sources could to a large extent solve the long unanswered question of how Nigeria can provide the needed power for industrial activities and even private ones, if the government looks beyond the thermal and hydroelectric power plants. Solar is one unexplored source of energy in Nigeria, even though it represents the largest flow entering the terrestrial ecosystem. After reflection and absorption in the atmosphere, some 100,000 megawatts usually hit the surface of the earth and undergo conversion to all forms of energy use. Nigeria, on its part, receives abundant sunshine all year round, ranging from an average of 6.70 kilowatt-hour per day in Borno State to roughly 4.06 kilowatt-hour per day in locations such as Calabar in Cross River State. Individuals like Deji Ajayi has made it his duty to convert this supply using various developed components.
This is called an inverter. We have this as charge controller, and this is a photovoltaic cell, solar panel, as it's mainly called in a general place. And we have this unit here as a stabilizer that regulates the amount of power that comes in from the grid or from the general source of power, maybe PHCN or IKD or Ikeja distribution company as we have it now. So mainly what we have, and we also have here as one of the key components, the batteries. And the way the whole process works is that this is the heart of the solution. This takes power from the battery to support the connected devices and appliances in this facility.
Although this produces clean energy, some Nigerians' disposition have not been positive towards solar energy for mostly economic reasons.
I would say even this solution is still a very small solution, as you can see. This is 8 batteries, for instance. But then, yes, I quite agree that the cost outlay could be higher, could be more expensive at the initial level. But then over time, it pays back for itself. What you have here is not something that was just purchased within a month span. It was done over a period of 6 months. We started with the batteries, with the inverter, after which the client got some deliverables from it. He felt, okay, I want to go to the next level, and that's generating free energy from the sun. We have 20 units of this on the roof of this facility that generates free energy from the sun that's been dumped into the battery, and this takes from there to supply the load. However, in terms of the cost, yes, the cost might be a little bit high at the initial level, but it pays back like a year and a half, you're back. The industry is evolving, and cost is a function of solution. Like we do always say, there's no shortcut in engineering. So if you look at an average home in Nigeria, we would say probably ₦500,000 for an average home. And at that ₦500,000 will guarantee that in that household, at least you have your fan, you have your TV, you have your light to operate for as long as you have the sun overhead. And probably during the raining season, that's the only reason. If there's no power from the grid, that's the only time you may have to run your generator. Having this fixed into a rented apartment, because I would like to say that the footprint, it's not as if it takes a lot of space, right? The footprint is such that it can be isolated. It's not necessary for it to be seen. It can be isolated, and like the panel, the photovoltaic cell can be on the roof without anybody coming by or your visitors knowing that you have such, like you were walking in here now, did you notice the photovoltaic cell? No. So that's the beauty of the solution. Unlike your generator, that you have it physically noticeable, in an environment. This can be hidden, this can be located elsewhere without anybody having an idea of you using this solution.
From experience, professionals in the sector say maintenance is not a challenge.
Where we are located in the part of the world, because of the closeness to the Sahara Desert, we have some ample amount of highly concentrated air with dust settling on the panels, and the panel's efficiency drops as debts begin to build up on the surface. So that is really not maintenance per se. You could just go there, or if you have a maintenance contract with your vendor, they could clean the panel surface and you could have your energy. So really, I would say the maintenance is very minute. The only major maintenance you may have it has to do with the batteries, depending on the quality of the batteries you have.
Michael Iwu is another solar energy provider and says Nigerians have been receptive, especially of specific solutions.
Yes, surprisingly, Nigerians are actually keen into this because we have a problem, which is PHCN failure. So they want to key into this, and it's a solution that is coming at the right time. So we have a lot of interest, people showing interest in this part of business.
Okay, but before now, there's been the complaint of it's capital intensive and it occupies a lot of space. A lot of people cannot spare that much space.
Yes, that is true, depending on the type of products. Like what we have here, this product is a portable solution that you can actually have. It doesn't occupy much space. So unlike the usual one, that you have a scrappy stuff, with this that we have, this is very presentable. You can have it in your sitting room, just like a cupboard. And you can see we have products like this. This is a BB7 and is very portable. This is a fantastic solution for rural areas, and students will also patronize this. It's plug and play solution. When you have this is very portable. You might be going for maybe like to read. You can go with this, and the panel is very handy. So this doesn't occupy much space. The panel is as small as this is a panel. Okay, this is the panel. So every student can carry this. That's why we say it's portable, and this is plug and play. You just get this, you put it outside. Maybe for fear of theft, you can bring it in during the night, and this attracts enough solar sunshine to power this, to charge this, that will sustain the student for 24 hours.
In April 2015, the Lagos State Government and the United Kingdom's Department for International Development entered an agreement to provide solar power to 172 public schools and 11 flagship public health care centers across 10 local government areas. As a follow-up to this initiative, the United Kingdom Minister of Department for International Development, Mr. Grant Shapps, recently visited some of the project sites in Ekpe, Lagos. In the company of representatives of the Lagos State Government and investors, he tours the facility which provides solar power to Ekpe Primary Health Care and Maternity Center.
I met 3 or 4 babies who've been born there in the last month who otherwise would have been born literally by candlelight. So, I only had to ask them what it was like to get a feel for it. But also, they've got a pharmacy, they've got fridges. This is a health centre that's been transformed. It's one of 11 that there's been a joint investment in. And then I think plus 172 schools, but I have the figure corrected if I'm wrong. But there's been quite a big program, which has enabled lots of people to get better healthcare, better education as a result of having energy. It's the way forward, and we've done it in partnership with DFID, that's the UK government, working with Lagos and also on a wider scale with the government here in Nigeria.